exception to the rule down there, but I mean, they handled the whole casino thing very well. Okay, you know, and yes, you know, some people were happy and some people weren't happy, but in the end, life went on. I mean, Foxborough was a bloodbath. To say that we did 3 different shows on casinos in Foxborough here, and it was the most heated responses we got because we just wanted people to, you know, it was just debating it. And we had
I shouldn't have raised the C word. I mean, as soon as you say
It
casino,
really is true.
gets
You
a
know,
lot of,
and it's true. Well, the issues will vary. I think what we can all agree on in your district, and that's because we're from Mansfield and Easton, Dan, so we can go here. But it's good people, good food, and great high school football.
Oh, yeah.
So get out and catch one of those as you're going along, for sure.
My only point was that they were very Taunton, for a big town, very diverse town. They came together, they did what they did, and they moved on. And I thought that was the point. And it's not whether you like a casino or not like a casino. The fact is, they handled issue A.
They did.
And they you know, they had their little battles and they moved on. And you know, to me, it's commendable. You know, next time Shauna comes around, I'm gonna let her know.
Oh, I know. Well, that's true. I was just gonna say good leadership, and that's part very local,
very
local issue.
Shauna and Keiko are both Keiko Earl and Shauna O'Connell are both great state representatives. They're recently elected. 2 younger Republican women, and they're both dynamic and going places.
Yeah,
I think,
last time you were here was right after Shauna had made her first appearance, and she was still knocking on doors. I mean, she was going door to door. She knocked on every door in town.
About every door in their district. I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's how you get it done. That's how you get it done.
So let's talk a little bit more about the mess in Washington. All right.
That's a long discussion.
Yeah, really. We only have 3 hours. So.
No, right. He's going to meet with some voters tonight, I'm sure, right on the back end here.
Oh yeah, it's funny. These candidates, they don't just after this they don't go home.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
They usually have 3 or 4 events after us. So.
Well, if you don't, you should.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
There's so little time in an election cycle, but right now we're down a little over 70 days till the general.
Yeah,
that's not a whole lot of time to talk to 714,000 people.
So you prepared to go to Washington, and no matter the outcome of the big election, and the second biggest one, yours is the biggest, but there's another one. There's Mr. Romney and then President Obama. That regardless of the outcome of that election, you're ready to dig in and just get done what has to be done.
He's a Marine.
Oh, I know.
Born ready.
That's right.
I definitely have a preferred outcome there.
Really?
But
me too.
But you know, it's so
so
important that and I hate to even say it, should Obama get reelected, it's so important that the House does its job of, you know, pushing back. And they have over the past couple of years. And you've heard people say, well, the Congress hasn't gotten anything done. They haven't passed laws. Well, I'll tell you what. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
You know? It's good to be slow and deliberate and not pass every bill that comes along.
No, they've actually done a lot of good things, but the only thing they get press for is this, that, and the other things.
Right.
But they've done a good job, and that's good. If you're successful, and I hope you are, you'll fit right in, and you'll bring your own independence and your own brand, your own to the table. And it'll be nice to know that the people in this district have a real fighter for them. And I know you're not afraid to get in the dust up. You're tough as nails.
You know what makes it easier? I don't care about getting reelected over and over and over. So I always say you should never be afraid to lose the next election on a policy issue. And I don't want to do this for a career. You know, if I go down and I vote a certain way and people don't like it, they can send me home. You know, I'm not going to do this I'm going to go down there for a couple terms and come back. And so it makes it a lot easier than to take stands that you believe in.
Wow, someone putting the public back in public service.
It's refreshing.
How about that?
How about that?
Can we vote today, Dan?
I wish you would. There's absentee ballots.
I think that we'll just take care of that right away.
Great.
That's great. We're both alive too, so.
Yeah, we're actually legitimate.
We're legitimate
voters. Yes. We can show you ID. We're ready to rock and roll.
Oh yeah, we'll show you ID, anything you want.
Got it.
So, what else would you like to tell the people of the district here? What can we expect now? I mean, again, we've in a different race now. Different, things have changed a lot since you've been here the last time. So obviously, there's new problems. There's different problems. Unfortunately, a lot of the old problems haven't gone away.
Right.
The people that helped make the problems haven't gone away. So, What new things do you have? Obviously, you got plenty. When there's so many things wrong, there's a lot of things to pick
absolutely.
from.
And so, people always ask about Obamacare, Affordable Care Act. Obviously, working towards repeal is extremely important for economic rebound as much as any other reason. Right now, people don't know what's coming, so they can't plan. And I've talked to lots of small business owners who say essentially, I could hire more people right now, but I'm not, because I don't know how much health care is going to cost me. I don't know what my taxes are going to be. There's so much uncertainty that people aren't making decisions. They're sitting on their money, and we're not growing.
Yeah.
So that's a priority, and it's something new.
Yeah, there was this big debate about the, and I hate to say it, and he hates to hear it, but the Bush-era tax cuts. If they don't get extended, I guess the Fed came out with a dire warning yesterday about what's going to happen if they don't get extended across the board, and they're apolitical.
Right.
So and again, that really didn't make a lot of the headlines. It makes some of the news organizations I watch, but it hasn't really hit the street yet.
Right.
But I mean, there's some serious concerns there.
Absolutely, and I think most people understand that when you're in an economic downturn, when you're in a period of an economic downturn, the last thing you want to do is raise anyone's taxes.
Right.
You don't want to take money out of the economy. And there are some people out there who are playing class warfare games and saying the people need to pay their fair share and this and that, but they're not saying why. So it'd be one thing if somebody came up to me and said, you know what, rich people should pay more taxes because we should buy school buses. We could agree or disagree on the need for school buses, but it could be an intelligent discussion. But what we get instead are rich people should pay more taxes, period.
Right.
Full stop.
And the government will decide how to spend your money.
Well, the rest of it is because the government has made bad choices and now needs you to pay for
Well,
it. Is the rest of that sentence in
but
some
somebody
form.
needs to say that explicitly. Otherwise,
Exactly.
it's just this idea that things aren't good for me, so I want to point the finger at somebody else and say,
No,
it's
that's
their
why
problem.
you're here, to straighten get the record straight.
That's right.
But I will say the other issue that it has changed is, foreign policy wasn't a huge issue last time, and that's a good thing. I'm concerned about Iran and what's going to happen with Israel prior to the election in October, what's going to happen. And I think it's important that we get people in Washington who have a security background, who have a military experience, who have some focus on that. Kennedy, one of the very few public things he's done was he was in a debate last week, and he said a couple of things that just showed that he doesn't understand that. He doesn't know, how we should be interacting with Israel and our allies. He doesn't understand what we should be doing in Afghanistan and in other places. And I think at a time where American lives are at risk, it's pivotal that we have people who can make good decisions about where they support use of force and where they
That's
don't.
the problem. It's still a tinderbox out in that area, and you never know what's going to happen. And if there's something does happen, I mean, it will escalate fast, I'm sure.
Right. Absolutely.
And the Israelis have, certainly not masking the fact that the fuse is burning real, close to the gun right now.
Right.
And they're looking for somebody to kind of talk them out of it, and it's not happening.
Well, they haven't had any support over the past
They're looking
3
for
to
some
4 years
reassurance
from
that they
the
have.
U.S.
Right.
And so no kidding, they're doing this. I mean, here's a country that's about to go nuclear, that's threatening their very existence. Their most powerful ally is kind of sitting on their hands and not communicating well and publicly humiliating their leadership and this and that and the other. And so, yeah, no kidding, they're looking at taking unilateral action.
Sure.
And the reason they're doing it prior to November is because they don't know what's happening afterwards. So if they do it prior to November, maybe Obama will support it, I think is the idea.
Right.
Because it's electorally advantageous for him to do that. And what we've seen time after time after time is this president will do anything that thinks that will make him get reelected.
Yeah.
It's shameful, but
it is
true.
shameful. There's a lot of shameful things that are going on in that office right now. But we need a guy like you to go in there and
not that office in particular.
no, we need a guy.
One at a time.
Not quite ready for that.
We need a guy to go in there that's going to make sure that they're constantly looking over their shoulders.
Yes.
And I think
You need
you're
a
up
check
for the
and a
job.
balance.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think you're up for the job. I mean, you've convinced me the last time you were here, and no problem convincing me again. Because, like I say, we've spent a lot of time together, and we've talked and debated the issues, and
You vetted him completely.
Absolutely.
First time around.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, you know, it's really, and I think you'd be great for the district. I think you'd be great you'd be great for America.
Thank you.
And you know, I wish there was more of you out there. To be honest with you.
Well, we need him in
brothers,
Massachusetts.
sisters, anybody?
But there are more and more. We're seeing better and better candidates come out, which is why we're picking up seats.
Well, that's what happened with
because,
the young guns, they call them.
Well, but even at the state level, you know, we're seeing stronger and stronger candidates. It's great. It's great. People who had never gotten involved before realize that there is some value in it because they can actually win.
Right.
You know, it's not just banging your head against the wall. It's being in competitive elections and you know, getting people elected.
Again, go back to Shauna, go back to Steve Howitt.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Keiko. I mean, these people, you know, they got in and they took the ball and ran with it.
Right. There's another one coming, I think, in Franklin. I'm real excited. Another woman.
Yep.
You know, and I think she's going to be another just a hot ticket. And I mean, but competent. I've had a
There are
chance.
three good people in that primary.
That's
I
really
know who
true.
you're talking about. Like her a lot, but there are three good people in that primary. I think any of them who make it out are going to be good.
It's true. It's true. But in that's reflective of the wide range that the GOP has to offer. And so it's all exciting all the way around. We can't lose on that one.
Right.
But I'm just really excited about it. So hopefully that's for another day. But I've got a great and easy last question for Sean, if you're
I
ready.
love easy
Oh,
questions.
All right, if that's okay.
Do we have any drum roll or anything?
No drum roll. You're going to be.
come
But you know
on.
what? I think we end with a nice strong one where we hear from Sean, and so it's my real quick question. Well, maybe we'll put that as a signature thing for me. But real quick question: why Sean Bielat? That's it.
Have you ever seen that famous video of Ted Kennedy when it says, you know, why could that scares the heck out of me? You know, the one where he says, "Why do you want to be president?" Why Sean Bielat? Well, because of some of the things I've already talked about. Right now, the #1 issue facing this country is the economy. Having somebody who goes down to Washington and just uses some common sense about what works in the business world and what doesn't, and what will help create jobs and what will hinder job creation. It's very important that we get people down there like that. It's very important that we get people who are going to go to Washington and not try to make a career of it. If somebody can tell me, look me in the eye and not smile and say that Kennedy will not go down there and make a career of it, I'll buy you a Coke.
We're both smiling already.
So I think it's important that we send people down there who want to go down and come back because they have the right incentives. They are there to represent people rather than to hold a job. I think that's very important. I think it's people in a time where there is uncertainty in the international arena. I think it's important to have people who have some understanding, some knowledge, some experience in that realm. And finally, I think it's important to get people in Washington who care deeply about the future economy that we face, who care about their kids and what's coming for them and how to fix it and to get this country back on a fiscally sustainable track. And so those things are things that I try to embody, views that I support, and I want to go down there and I want to work on job creation. I want to work on fiscal discipline. I want to work on role of government. I want to work on national security.
Very good.
So I say to the voters, you know, November 6th, take a look at what both candidates are offered. Make a decision based not on party or name, but on what you believe and agree with. I hope that's me. I hope that you'll vote, you know, Sean Bielat on November 6th. And until then, I'll be looking forward to meeting people around the district.
Great.
Very nice. Well, that's excellent. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of, again, a very aggressively busy schedule and coming down, spend a little time with us. And it's good to know that you won't be a stranger. Okay, we're not going to. We don't even have to ask. I know you're going to want to return.
Have me on in Easton. I'll be
yeah, well, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, we got a little announcement to make, and we'll get to
I'm
that.
sorry.
No,
Right.
no, that's all right. You know, it's all right.
When
Just-
Sean comes, big things are happening.
That's
Right?
always.
That's
I
right.
know.
Good
You
things
never,
are happening.
never
big
go out
news.
with a fizzle.
Right.
I do have one last question for you with regards to your business. And did you build that?
No, of course I didn't.
Oh,
The government
okay.
did.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was saying this earlier.
was dying
My
to
father-in-law is visiting right now, and he is not political. He just doesn't pay attention. He cares about the issue, but he doesn't read it day in and day out. And so my wife, Hope, said something about that you didn't build that, and it was the first time he heard it. Well, he had an exterminating business, which he built from the ground. He went through the roof. He said, you know, I work 15 hours a day. I was working weekends. I created this to support the family, and you're telling me I didn't build this? This is somebody who is very independent, often votes Democrat.
Right.
And still had the same reaction because people who have built businesses find that offensive, as they should.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, we won't tie you up from your busy schedule. Danielle and I are going to continue on here a little bit. I know you're pressed for time. You're welcome to stay, but I know you're pressed for time. You got 2 or 3 other events to come. So we're going to take a short break, and then
great.
I'd like to thank again Congressional candidate Sean Bielat.
Well, thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and
on to victory.
Don't be a stranger. You haven't been, so I feel funny saying don't be a stranger because you really haven't. You've really haven't been, void of the area, and you've really been part of the fabric around here. He's easy to get a hold of. Your staff is good. You have great staff.
Thank you.
You have good people working with you, and I wish you all the best.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
And Danielle and I will be right back.
Great.
And just like that, we're back through the miracle of television. Huh? It's almost like we never left. But we did go out and